and the omnibus. So I was forced into the Archers when I was a child. And look, it's come back to bite me later on. I'm awash with this stuff.
The Archers is the world's longest-running radio show, with more than 15,000 episodes broadcast. Despite being a rural flavor show, The Archers is recorded in the heart of...
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at a community caught in that really painful post-holiday vacuum.
Yeah, that moment when the festive lights come down and suddenly all the realities of life and loss just rush back in.
And our source material this time is particularly revealing. We're seeing these intimate conversations that just swing wildly in tone.
They really do. I mean, they move from something as mundane as packing away a wreath right into these huge discussions of, well, major health crises, deep personal grief, and even this very strange localized security mystery.
It's a snapshot of a place where all these pressures, both external and internal, are just compounding so rapidly. So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack this collective stress. You know, how does grief complicate decision-making?
And what does that emotional burden of a shared trauma actually look like on the ground?
Exactly. And what do these conversations teach us about managing threats, both physical and digital, when you're already completely overloaded?
We're basically looking at three major interconnected stressors.
And we're going to spend time analyzing how they fuel one another. Okay, let's unpack this, starting right at the heart of the home. So we begin with that really familiar post-Christmas moment. You know, the house feeling stark, the holidays are officially over.
And for Alice and Tony, as they're dismantling the decorations, the weight of Jennifer's absence is just, it's tangible.
Because for Jennifer, this wasn't just decoration, it was an art form.
Oh, absolutely. It was an incredible commitment to detail. Alice and Tony talk about her approach almost reverently.
Her system.
Yeah, she had this almost scientific system for color coordination, especially with her ribbons and lights. And the key detail here.
The foliage.
The foliage. She never, ever used plastic. Her wreath was always fresh. So when that specific, beautiful tradition gets packed away, the house doesn't just look tidier.
It feels empty and stark.
Precisely. And that detail, the real foliage, it's such a perfect metaphor for the loss.
You can't just box up a plastic memory.
No, you have to confront the tangible decay of something real that she created.
And right in the middle of that emotional moment, the real world intrudes.
It does. Tony calls in, asking Brian for help with some physical labor at Bridge Farm.
Just some hedging, hammering stakes.
Yeah, moving some bark pathways. It's an innocent enough request, right? I mean, he assumes Brian has the time now that he's stepped back from the main farm workload.
But that request becomes the accidental catalyst.
It forces the family to confront a hidden crisis because Tony is met with this immediate resistance, and that's when Alice, she has to reveal the secret.
The Brian has been struggling.
Right, with problems with his angina over New Year. And this explains his, his sudden lack of activity, but more importantly, his current emotional state.
What's fascinating is his complete refusal to admit he's vulnerable.
Oh, he hates it. Hates the attention so much that Alice mentions he basically ordered Rory out of the house just for showing concern when he delivered his prescription.
So he's putting all this energy into appearing strong and busy.
In his body, his heart is just drawing a hard limit.
So when Brian finally walks into this conversation, he's already on the defensive.
Completely coiled. And he misinterprets Tony's concern as interference. He instantly says he feels mollycoddled and patronized.
And throws all that hostility straight at Tony.
Yes, accusing him of not wanting him to move out. It's a crucial piece of evidence in the source material.
It really is, because he attacks Tony for just stating the obvious, that it would be strange for Miranda to buy the farmhouse because of all the memories.
And Brian just twists this observation into a massive personal conflict. It's classic emotional displacement. He's deflecting the anger onto a safer target, Tony, when the real pain is internal.
So let's pause on that. If the stressor was just the logistics of the move, why would he be so hostile?
Because the move isn't the real problem. It's the proposed solution to the problem.
And we see this play out immediately.
Instantly. Brian drops a piece of news that should be a huge relief.
Miranda's offer to buy the farmhouse has fallen through. The sale was off.
That massive logistical stressor is instantly removed. But Brian's emotional state, it doesn't deflate.
It escalates.
It escalates. And that is the critical paradox here. If the move was the source of his anxiety, he should feel better.
But he feels worse.
Which proves the drive for change was masking something much deeper. And when he finally breaks down and confesses to Alice, the true stressor comes out.
It's not the move. It's Jennifer's birthday coming up on Wednesday.
And the anniversary of her death later this month. He tells Alice that once the decorations are gone, the place feels empty and stark, and with Jennifer gone, the house feels the exact same way.
The physical emptiness mirrors the emotional emptiness.
That's the real heart condition he's dealing with, isn't it? The physical angina is just compounded by the emotional pain of loss. And the house, the sight of their entire life together, has become unbearable.
Which raises a vital question about how we cope.
Because instead of using this unexpected reprieve to slow down and process the grief,
He doubles down.
he immediately insists on forcing change. He's firm that he needs a new chapter and is determined to move as soon as Miranda finds another place, despite Alice's concern about the stress. He is using this radical external change to try and outrun his internal emptiness.
And that intense tension Brian created. You can see it infects Tony.
Oh, definitely. He carries that emotional baggage right through the door of the pub, looking for relief.
And he just walks right into the next layer of the community crisis. He wants a dark drink, but he finds himself talking to Neil.
And the focus shifts instantly to another deep health crisis gripping the village.
George.
Yes, George. We get the specific, very distressing medical update that he's gone to Birmingham for a critical brain scan.
With Emma, Will, and Amber.
Introducing the Archer's Mug, where elegance meets everyday comfort. Crafted from premium white ceramic, designed with vibrant peekaboo colors inside, simple, modern, and stylish. Start your day the Archer's way, with warmth, familiarity, and the comfort of voices you've come to love. As the stories unfold on the Archers, let this mug become part of your daily ritual, a small reminder of life in Ambridge. Practical for every home, dishwasher and microwave safe. Available in 2 sizes, 11 ounces and 15 ounces, designed to fit your lifestyle. Enjoy your favorite drink in a mug that connects you to Britain's most beloved countryside story, The Archers. For more information, and to order your very own The Archers mug, follow the link below and make it part of your daily routine.
It's clearly a moment of acute terror for the family. Susan is understandably upset, but just trying to keep busy to hold herself together.
And you can see the shared weight of this trauma immediately connect Tony and Neil.
Because Neil recounts the horror of finding George.
And Tony gets it instantly. He says, I know how it feels, to find someone like that. It's a devastating common experience in these communities, isn't it?
It is, and Neil shares this this absolutely chilling description from Susan. It just shows the depth of the shock.
What did she say?
She said George looked like a model of him, but, and this is the crucial part, George just wasn't there.
Wow.
That's the language of sudden, acute trauma, seeing the familiar body, but without the spirit you know.
And the effects just ripple out into the practicalities of daily life. The farm doesn't stop for trauma.
Not at all. Barrow Farm is suffering. Neil describes it as cold, wet, understaffed, precisely because Will is needed with George.
And Hannah's been off sick since New Year's.
Right, so the human costs of these health crises directly compromises the actual physical running of the farm.
What's so insightful here is how Tony uses this shared vulnerability. He offers this piece of, hard-won, profound life advice.
It's from his own painful past, too. He confesses to Neil about falling out with John just before he died.
And that argument just haunted him.
For years. That detail makes the abstract idea of grief so brutally specific.
And the advice he gives is universal. Try not to go to bed on an argument.
He assures Neil that family disagreements almost always come from caring too much. It's such an immediate, actionable coping strategy for when you're under immense pressure.
And you can connect that advice directly back to Brian's explosion.
Absolutely. Brian's sudden, aggressive hostility toward Tony was fueled by his inability to process his grief.
And the shame of his health problems.
His argument with Tony was rooted in caring too much about hiding his pain. Tony's wisdom just underlines how quickly that underlying stress can manifest as misplaced anger.
Okay, so moving from those internal emotional storms, we shift gears to an external technological threat.
The local CCTV mystery. It's a classic example of modern security challenges hitting a small, rural setting.
And the incident is complex because it suggests a level of sophistication the community is just not used to dealing with.
Right. The core incident is the New Year's Eve security breach. But the critical finding from the police is what's really alarming. The perpetrators didn't just delete some footage.
They wiped the backup as well.
Exactly. So not only is the footage gone forever, but the act of wiping the backup, that suggests this wasn't just an opportunistic burglar.
It implies either technical skill or prior planning.
Designed specifically to erase their digital footprint. And that detail is the source of pure psychological terror for Joy.
She felt like an idiot when the police arrived, but her deeper fear isn't about property, is it?
No, it's about control. The thought of someone having accessed her system, being able to operate inside her digital defenses, she says it gives me the shivers.
The threat has moved from a broken lock to something sophisticated and invisible.
And you can immediately hear the conflicting theories bubbling up. The community is struggling to categorize this danger.
Joy is skeptical. She thinks it's far-fetched that the usual suspects, Markey and co., would know where her laptop is.
Let alone have the skills to wipe a backup drive. She wants to believe it was just an accident.
She wants the threat to be clumsy and local.
But Jolene provides the crucial counterpoint. She grounds the conversation in modern reality.
She says cybercriminals are very sophisticated these days.
And her conclusion forces the community to recognize a new level of risk. That while it seems unlikely doesn't mean impossible.
It suggests the threat level has fundamentally shifted, whether or not Markey was even involved.
And while we get a summary of who was where Fallon searching for Kira, Joy, and Mick home early, the alibis don't solve the core problem.
No, Jolene is absolutely certain Markey and his gang are clearly behind all this.
And that insistence shows that human impulse, to pin anxiety on a tangible enemy, even when the evidence might point to something more complex. They want the threat to be local and fixable.
So when you combine all of this, the hidden grief, the health crises, the farm labor shortages, and now this anxiety over a professional security wipe,
it all creates this incredibly pressurized environment.
Which makes the simple act of planning a community celebration feel almost impossible.
That pressure is immediately evident in Fallon's stress level. She is just vehemently resisting plans to do Burns Night big.
She feels it's in bad taste. She questions if anyone is really in the mood to celebrate.
And we see this classic clash of coping styles emerge.
Fallon needs to keep it simple and small. Her approach is to reduce the external demand. She's overwhelmed.
She's seeking simplicity as a refuge. But in stark contrast, you have Joy insisting they go big.
Her argument is that a large celebration would give people something to look forward to.
So Joy is pushing for, what? Aggressive distraction, mandated optimism as a form of communal healing.
She sees celebration as a necessary forward push.
And this conflict highlights a critical psychological divide. When trauma hits, do you seek space to process, or do you seek distraction to maintain momentum?
Joy doesn't want the community to dwell on that empty and stark feeling Brian is experiencing.
But Fallon can't pretend that emptiness isn't there.
So the decision they land on is a compromise.
A small, manageable effort. A special menu or something, emphasizing simplicity. Fallon really stresses this, especially when she contrasts it with the huge, complicated buffet for Lavinia Raffette's birthday that's happening upstairs.
That massive, joyous effort just feels totally alien to the current community mood.
Which brings us full circle. The source material is a testament to compounded stress. We have Brian dealing with hidden illness and raw grief.
We have Neil processing the shock of finding George, which has paralyzed farm operations.
And we have Joy and Fallon struggling to even agree on how to face forward while dealing with the threat of digital erasure. The entire community is just emotionally and practically overloaded.
Exactly. The sources show that in this pressurized January, the simplest decisions like planning a menu or moving a wreath are suddenly freighted with all this loss and uncertainty.
And the dominant response we see in several key characters. Brian seeking a move, Jolene pushing to look forwards, Joy insisting on a big celebration, is this powerful, almost desperate drive to force a new chapter.
It's an understandable but very complex coping mechanism when the pressure becomes overwhelming.
It makes you wonder, though, given the clear evidence that Brian is actively avoiding his grief and is instead focusing all his energy on this rapid external change of selling his home.
Does the new chapter he seeks actually provide true, lasting healing?
Or is it just another distraction? A larger, more expensive set of new decorations to mask that empty and stark feeling he knows will return when the real work of grieving inevitably catches up with him. That's something worth mulling over as you navigate your own new chapters this year.
So, what are you doing now?
Just getting ready for the next episode. Just moving mics around.
So what do you do?
The spot effects on the arches.
Are you what we call Foley then?
Kind of. Yep.
Okay. And these are all part of the paraphernalia of production.
Yep. That's the bull bar. That's
this one.
Yep. That's.
Hayley so wanted to be in their own place when their baby came. It's due in 2 months. Not much chance of that now. No. I mean, it would have been a stretch for them financially, mind, but I just wish there was something practical I could do to help them, Caroline.
I think the Archers has had this immense popularity over the years, basically because it has always very accurately reflected the reality of life and living in a rural community at whatever